The file format behind almost every logo, every screenshot, and every meme template you have ever saved was built in a few weeks. Out of pure spite, somebody tried to charge rent on something the whole web thought was free, and the internet did not just complain, it built a replacement. Here is my thesis. PNG is the rare moment where the web got angry and shipped something instead of writing one more furious forum post. And the lesson underneath it is bigger than image files. Open standards usually do not win because a committee planned them perfectly. They win because somebody tries to put a toll booth on a road everyone already drives, and that toll booth makes people furious enough to pave a new road overnight. Let me set the scene. Back in 1987, CompuServe released the graphics interchange format. You know it as the GIF. It was small, it loaded fast on a slow modem, and it became the default picture of the early internet. Under the hood, it squeezed images using a compression trick called LZW. Simple, clever, everywhere. There was just one problem. Nobody had really noticed. That LZW trick was patented, and the patent belonged to a company called Unisys. For years, almost nobody thought about it. GIF was just the air the web breathed. Then, right at the end of December 1994, the air got expensive. CompuServe and Unisys announced a licensing deal. Developers who wrote software that created GIF files could now owe fees to use the format. People started calling it the GIF Tax. The most common image format on the internet suddenly had a meter running on it, and a lot of programmers found out their free building block had a landlord. Now, to be fair, GIF was never banned, and you personally were never going to get a bill for posting one. The fees aimed at software that wrote GIFs, not at every person who shared one. But the principle landed like a slap. Something everyone had built on top of was quietly somebody else's property. And this is the part I love. The web did not just rage. Within days, on the 4th of January 1995, a developer named Thomas Boutel posted on a Usenet group and basically said, "Fine, let us build our own." A loose group of programmers swarmed in. Within roughly a week, most of the core ideas were on the table. They were designing a free, patent-free replacement, in public, on a mailing list, at internet speed, fueled by nothing more than being annoyed. No corporate budget, no roadmap, no permission. Just people who refused to pay rent on a thing they had already been using for free. What they shipped was the Portable Network Graphics Format, PNG. And because programmers are programmers, the joke was baked right into the name. PNG, they said, stands for PNG Is Not GIF. A recursive acronym, a little middle finger to the toll booth, encoded in the title forever. But here is why PNG actually stuck around. Because spite alone does not make a good format. It was genuinely better in the ways that mattered. It used an open compression method that owed nobody a license. It often compressed cleaner, and it added real alpha transparency, soft edges that blend onto any background. That is the reason your logos and icons sit on a page without an ugly white box around them. PNG could not do everything though, and I want to stay honest. It could not do animation, not natively. That one feature is the entire reason GIF refused to die. The reaction GIF, the looping meme, that lived on because PNG simply did not cover it. A stretched format from 1987 survived into the meme era on one trick its replacement skipped. A later extension called APNG added animation, but it never became the universal thing GIF was. And the toll booth? It eventually came down on its own. The LZW patent expired around 2003 in the United States and into 2004 elsewhere. The thing everyone had panicked about quietly stopped mattering, but by then it was far too late to walk it back. PNG was already everywhere, and it still is, one of the most used formats on the planet. So here's the takeaway. We tell a story where the best technology wins on merit. Often the real trigger is pettier and more human. Somebody tries to charge rent, and a builder gets angry enough to make the toll obsolete. We saw it again later with Git, written partly because a tool a community relied on stopped being free to them. Spite is an underrated engineering force. Annoyance ships product. So, no toll on this one. This video is free, it is open, and you can share it lossless. If a format built out of spite can run the whole internet, you can spare one click. Subscribe, leave a like, and pass it along. No license required.